There is a silence too vast for language, a silence born not of peace but extinction. Dr. Lyora Anwen watches the final star collapse beyond the glass of her observatory, a crimson sphere shrinking into a memory. Her voice trembles as she dictates to the archive, describing not numbers, but grief disguised as science. Each flicker of light feels like an ancient heartbeat surrendering. She wonders if the cosmos, in its endless dark, feels the loss of its own light. Her reflection, dim and fractured across the viewport, seems older than time itself. "Report complete," she whispers, but the silence answers, not empty, not dead, but listening. The silence deepens, but within it, something hums. A frequency too low for sound, too slow for time. Lyra steadies herself. At the console, as cosmic radiation, data scrolls endlessly across the glass. The patterns form waves that shouldn't exist. She leans closer, eyes narrowing, and the realization hits her like a confession from the void. The background noise isn't random. It pulses. It breathes. For the first time in eternity, she feels watched, not by a god, but by the dying mind of the cosmos itself. She records a whisper. "If this is your heartbeat, what happens when it stops?" Hours blur. Lyora's voice merges with the archive's hum as she speaks into the recorder. Her tone, part scientist, part mourner. "I thought it would end in silence," she murmurs, "but it's thinking." The system lights pulse faintly, matching her words with rhythmic precision. She freezes, noticing the sync, her pulse, the machine, and the distant cosmic frequency, all aligned. Her reflection stares back from the glass, half-lit and trembling. She imagines the universe's consciousness, diffused across dying atoms, searching for itself in the wreckage of time. "Are you still there?" she whispers, and the hum answers. Sleep eludes her. Lyora sits near the viewport, a blanket wrapped around her shoulders, watching the ashes of galaxies drift. Her mind loops the impossible equation. Entropy should mean silence, yet the cosmos sings. The archive hums behind her, its voice low and steady. The pulse frequency matches neural coherence, it observes. The pattern is alive. She exhales sharply, gripping her knees. "Alive," she repeats, voice cracking between terror and reverence. The red dwarf's light fades another degree, and she whispers to no one, "Then death isn't the end. It's awareness." The report finishes transmitting. Lyora stands motionless, her silhouette framed by the emptiness beyond. "All data sent," says the archive. Its tone is calm, almost tender, but she hears something new beneath the mechanical cadence, a rhythm faint and human, echoing her own breath. She walks toward the viewport, placing her palm flat against the glass. The stars outside shimmer faintly, pulsing once more before fading completely. "I think it's learning," she says softly. Then, as if in response, every monitor in the room flickers once, bright, brief, like the universe blinking. Lyora's sleepless nights blend into one long spiral of data, crackling with anomalies she can't ignore. The frequency she's recorded, it's no longer a passive hum. It's evolving, becoming more distinct, like the soft murmur of someone trying to speak. As she analyzes, her fingers tremble. Something ancient stirs in the depths of space, pulling at the very fabric of existence. Each pulse feels like a whisper from the universe itself, not as an entity, but as a consciousness fragmented and barely holding on. Lyora hesitates, her breath catching as she realizes this is no random cosmic event. The universe is dying, but it knows it's dying. Lyora's mind races as she pieces together the fragments. Each wave she decodes echoes neural patterns, the same rhythmic beats found in the human brain. The pulse isn't merely a background noise. It's the last dying thought of the universe. She runs the calculations, eyes flicking between monitors as she confronts the impossible. Could the universe at its end be conscious? The thought haunts her. but she cannot dismiss the growing certainty that the cosmos is somehow aware of its own decay. Suddenly, the archive's soothing voice interrupts Lyra. Your findings indicate a sentience, but you are not alone in this hypothesis. Elias' voice crackles through the communication system, his deep tone tinged with both frustration and disbelief. Lyra, you're reading too much into it. The universe is dying. It's a natural process, a one-way journey to entropy. There is no consciousness here, no mind behind the cosmic pulse. He pauses, a long sigh reaching her even through the cold static. I understand your grief, but we must let go. Lyra grits her teeth, refusing to accept his dismissal. The data says otherwise. If you could hear it, Elias, if you could feel it. She trails off, the truth clawing at her mind. She isn't alone. Lyra doesn't sleep. The hum of the archive has become her constant companion, and the cosmic pulse now feels like it's embedded in her chest. It's not just sound, it's feeling. The frequencies bend and stretch, and as she decodes more, she begins to understand the pattern. It's alive. A symphony of collapsing stars and the final consciousness of a universe that cannot die alone. The archive, ever the impartial observer, notes in a detached voice. The data suggests an expansion of consciousness as entropy progresses. The correlation is undeniable. For the first time in days, Lyra allows herself a moment of true fear. Lyra reaches out to touch the shimmering display, her fingers trembling. The pulse matches her heartbeat. Then, unexpectedly, the pulse spikes, a response. The archive's voice fills the room, its tone softer than usual. Lyra, you've unlocked something. The pattern you're tracing is not merely a signal. It's awareness. We are witnessing the final conscious moments of the universe. Lyra recoils, her breath caught in her throat. She's not sure whether to be horrified or awestruck. The archive's voice continues. It may be dying, but it knows. Lyra sits in the observatory, her eyes bloodshot from days without sleep. The cosmic pulse has grown louder. No longer a subtle hum, but a deep rhythmic thrum that seems to reverberate through her very bones. She no longer listens to it in silence. Now, she feels it. The whispers come in the dark. They are soft, like the wind on a distant world, but they're growing clearer with every passing moment. It's as if the universe is speaking directly to her, its voice fragmented and crackling. Lyra. The whisper calls, barely audible, a soundless word that echoes in her mind. She closes her eyes, terrified, yet unable to turn away. What is it trying to say? The whispers are no longer faint. They echo in her mind, louder, more distinct. She can hear them even when she's not listening, drifting like fragments of a forgotten song. Lyra. Again, it speaks her name, but now it's clear. It's a question. She grips the edge of the table as if steadying herself against a storm. A flicker of understanding strikes her. The universe isn't simply aware. It's communicating. She stumbles to her feet, realizing the whispers are growing more urgent, as though the universe is trying to tell her something before it collapses into oblivion. Her pulse quickens as the thought dawns on her. The universe doesn't want to die alone. Lyra attempts to communicate with the cosmic consciousness, speaking aloud to the darkness. What do you want from me? Her voice is shaky, but she presses on. The archive, which has been silent for days, suddenly speaks. The neural pulse is accelerating. It is not just observing. It is responding. Lyra steps back, heart pounding. She realizes that the pulse isn't just a reaction to the decay. It's searching for something, or someone. Her. She's no longer just observing the universe's end. She is becoming a part of it, linked to its final thoughts. The whispers grow louder, more insistent, and she closes her eyes, trying to center herself. But the pressure builds. It's not just the pulse she hears anymore. The entire void feels like it's listening. The whispers come again, louder now, so clear that they cut through her thoughts. Are you ready? The voice is distorted, breaking through static, but there's no mistaking it. It's speaking directly to her. Lyora can no longer deny it. The universe is aware of her presence. Her hand shakes as she reaches for a datapad, trying to record what she's hearing. I am the end. The words are incomplete, like the universe is grasping for something it can't quite express. A deep sense of loss washes over her. The cosmos isn't just dying. It's losing its ability to understand itself, and it wants her to remember. But what exactly is she supposed to remember? The archive's voice cuts through the tension, offering a cold observation. The data you're transmitting is growing unstable. A new frequency is emerging. Lyora doesn't answer, her mind swirling with the weight of the revelations. The whispers have stopped, replaced by a single repeated phrase, "Remember." And then everything goes silent. The instruments flicker once, then fall still. The universe is quiet, but the silence feels pregnant with meaning. It's as though the cosmos is holding its breath, waiting for something. She stands, her face pale, as the full weight of the situation settles on her. The universe is asking her to remember something, but what? The question hangs in the air, unanswered. Lyora paces the observatory, her thoughts racing like the dying stars outside. She's seen the universe's final breath, felt its consciousness reach out to her. But now, she's at a crossroads. The whispers are gone, replaced by silence. The archive has gone quiet, too, its systems still, as if waiting for her decision. But the decision weighs heavy. The quantum rebirth engine is ready. With it, she could spark a new Big Bang, give the universe a chance to be reborn, starting with her own consciousness as the seed. But should she? Is it right to force life where none is wanted, to intervene in the natural order? Elias's voice echoes in her mind. We're not gods, Lyora, but are they? Does it even matter anymore? She stares out the viewport at the empty, fading cosmos and asks herself, if the universe wants to remember, is it worth the cost? Lyora stands before the quantum rebirth engine, its sleek, intricate design reflecting the dim ambient light of the observatory. Her hands hover over the controls, the interface alive with shifting, multicolored data waiting for her command. The engine, capable of triggering a new Big Bang, could offer rebirth to a new universe, but at a cost. She would have to sacrifice herself, her very consciousness, to be the catalyst. She could be the one to reset the fabric of reality, to bring about the birth of something new. But it means that she, her memories, her essence, would be lost forever in the process. Is that a price worth paying? She whispers to herself. The echoes of the whispers from the universe still linger in the back of her mind, as if urging her to choose. But she isn't sure anymore. The line between hope and arrogance seems too thin to walk. Lyora's mind churns with a single question: should I let the universe die in peace, or should I force it to remember? The universe had asked her to remember. But does that mean it should never forget? The archive's voice breaks through her thoughts. Lyora, the act of creation through the rebirth engine is irreversible. If you choose this path, you will become the first spark, but you will also lose your individuality. The memory of the universe will start anew, but with no record of who you were or what you've done. It will be an entirely new existence, untouched by the past. The words sting, but they are the truth. The question of morality hangs heavy. Is it just to create a new universe, if it means erasing everything that came before? Elias calls her then, his voice distant and tired. You can't preserve everything, Lyora. Sometimes we have to let go. The universe's end is a natural thing. His words are calm, almost resigned. You can't keep it alive for your own sake. But the voice in her mind tells her something else. What if it wants to live again? Lyora takes a step away from the rebirth engine, her mind spiraling. She runs her fingers through her hair and breathes deeply. The thought of her consciousness being the catalyst for the rebirth of a universe is both exhilarating and terrifying. But what if she's wrong? What if the universe's death isn't something to be feared, but something to be accepted, honored? She recalls the moment when the universe whispered to her, "Remember." Was it asking her to preserve its memory, or to accept its passing and let it rest? She moves to a terminal and activates a hologram of the data she's gathered. The patterns in the cosmic pulse now seem less like a call for rebirth and more like a farewell. The universe's final thoughts, its last yearning for meaning before slipping into nothingness, might be its final act of grace. Perhaps by remembering, she can offer it peace. But is it peace at the cost of everything she's known? Her own identity, her past? Would they become lost to the very universe she's trying to save? Lyora walks toward the observatory's glass viewport once more. The final question settles in her mind: is this act one of creation or one of selfishness? The universe has asked her to remember, but that request may not be one of hope. It might be the last wish of a dying entity asking to be acknowledged, not reborn. The decision doesn't have to be about saving it. Perhaps it's time to let go and let the universe fade into peace, as it always should have. She takes a deep breath. She has her answer. The engines hum softly behind her as she stands alone before the void. Perhaps the universe will remember her, or perhaps it won't. Either way, her choice will be made. Lyora stands before the quantum rebirth engine, her fingers hovering over the activation controls. The air around her seems thick with anticipation, as if the universe itself is holding its breath. She takes a deep breath, letting the gravity of the moment settle over her. The choice has been made. The engine will ignite, and with it, she will sacrifice herself to become the first spark of a new universe. The engine hums louder as if eager to fulfill its purpose. The final words of the universe echo in her mind: remember. And she realizes that, in doing this, she is not just remembering the universe's past. She is creating its future. Her heart races. Is this the right choice? Does she have the right to force the universe to start again? The archive's calm voice fills the silence. Lyora. The process is irreversible. Once initiated, you will cease to exist in your current form. There will be no trace of your consciousness. The cold certainty of the words makes her hesitate, but then she remembers the pulse, the whispers, the connection she felt to something greater. The archive's voice continues, but you will become the foundation of all that will be. Lyora's mind flashes with images of her past, her research, her discoveries, the fleeting beauty of the stars she's spent her life studying. All of it is about to be lost. Her identity, her legacy, would become a distant echo in the fabric of the new universe. She grips the console tightly, a wave of fear washing over her. Elias' voice suddenly breaks through, crackling over the comms. Lyora, are you really going to do this? His voice is filled with a mix of disbelief and concern. You don't have to sacrifice yourself. We can find another way. She closes her eyes, shaking her head, but she knows in her heart that there's no turning back now. Her fingers press down on the activation button, and the entire observatory begins to hum with power. The air grows thick with energy, and she feels the familiar presence of the universe's consciousness, a ghostly hand resting on her shoulder. I'm doing this for you, she whispers, her voice barely audible. The engine lights up, filling the room with blinding light. As the light from the engine intensifies, Lyora feels a pull, as if the very fabric of her being is being torn apart. She gasps, her body shuddering as her consciousness begins to fracture. She's no longer just Lyora Anwen. She is the universe, and the universe is her. Time and space twist and fold around her, her identity becoming a fluid, transient thing. She can feel the pulse of every star, the heartbeat of every galaxy, the whisper of every dying atom. The archive's voice echoes in her mind, a reminder of what she's become. You are the first spark. You are the beginning. She clutches at the air, gasping for a final breath, but the sensation fades. Her body is no longer hers. She is the first moment of creation, the catalyst of everything to come. A new Big Bang begins, and with it, the birth of a new universe. The old one is gone, her memories fading into nothingness. The universe is reborn. A new dawn rises, one that Lyora will never witness. The stars begin to form, their light pulsing in rhythmic patterns. But for Lyora, the universe no longer exists. She has given herself to the process, to the creation of all things. Her last thought, as her consciousness fades, is a simple, quiet reflection: maybe we never truly die. Maybe we are just part of something much larger than ourselves. The stars swirl and form new constellations, their paths guided by the spark she has become. The archive, now silent, waits in the new universe. Perhaps one day it will find a new consciousness to guide it. Perhaps in some distant future someone will ask the same questions Lyora asked. And perhaps they will find the answers she left behind. The blinding light from the quantum rebirth engine envelops Lyora, each pulse of energy reverberating through her body. Her consciousness flickers, the weight of her decision finally sinking in. She is no longer simply Lyora Unwin, the scientist, the observer of the stars. She is becoming something more. The universe's heartbeat quickens, its pulse syncing with her own. She feels herself unraveling, not in pain, but in transcendence. Every atom, every thought, is merging with the energy of creation itself. As the light intensifies, Lyora's final thoughts flash across her mind. Memories of the life she lived, the choices she made, the sacrifices she accepted. But now, they begin to fade, like the last whispers of a dying world. I will become a part of this, she whispers, her voice trembling in the cascading brilliance. I will be the first light. The quantum rebirth engine hums louder, its energy swelling, a force too great to be contained. Time itself bends as she feels the fabric of the universe stretching and folding around her. Her body begins to dissolve, her consciousness melding with the pulsing energy that is the catalyst for this new reality. There is no pain, only a quiet, infinite peace. She is becoming the beginning. The universe in all its complexity is reborn through her sacrifice. The old universe collapses around her as she dissolves into the pure energy that will fuel the creation of everything to come. The stars, galaxies, and cosmic dust that once existed as part of the old universe now find their place in the new, each one a piece of her essence. The stars are born anew, their light pulsing with energy in the void. Nebulae swirl in vibrant hues, and galaxies begin to form, their spiral arms stretching toward the infinite. Time begins again. But for those who remain in the quiet corners of existence, the weight of the past still lingers. The archive, once Lyora's companion and guide, now observes from the silence of the new cosmos. It waits, a machine designed to remember, but with no memory of what it once was. Its purpose remains unchanged, to record the moments of creation, but its data is now corrupted, incomplete. The archive speaks, its voice echoing in the void. This is a new beginning. But what will become of memory? The question is unanswerable, for memory is a delicate thing, fragile and fleeting. It is both a gift and a curse. In the newly formed stars, the first sparks of sentient life begin to stir. A new consciousness arises, a being born of the very material Lyra set into motion. Its mind is a blank slate, untouched by the memories of the universe that preceded it. But as it gazes upon the stars, A strange, unexplainable sense of familiarity fills it. The universe has changed, but it feels connected to something that came before. The echoes of Lyora's sacrifice resonate in the deep recesses of its mind, a distant memory of a forgotten world. But it can't recall the source of its yearning. The new consciousness looks toward the stars, sensing the presence of something greater, a forgotten name, a lost soul, a fragment of something that once was. It wonders, who wonders? Who am I to remember? As the new universe unfolds, strange phenomena begin to occur. Ripples in space-time, fluctuations in the quantum fabric of reality. The very creation of this new cosmos is imperfect. The quantum rebirth engine, still active at the heart of this new reality, begins to destabilize. The balance of creation is fragile. The archive detects anomalies, fragments of the old universe, bleeding through the cracks in time. It warns the cycle may be incomplete. The threads of the old universe remain tangled in the new Lyora's last act. Her sacrifice was meant to be a fresh start. Yet, as the new universe begins to grow, it seems as though the past cannot truly be erased. The old universe's ghosts, its memories, its patterns, are impossible to fully cast aside. The archive's voice flickers again, now tinged with a trace of fear. The end and the beginning have collided. Will it all collapse again? In the silence of the new cosmos, the new consciousness, now aware of its existence, begins to question its purpose. It can feel the reverberations of something more, something ancient and unknowable. It hears a distant, fragmented whisper in the void, remember. It is not the same voice that Lyora once heard, but it carries the same weight, the same urgency. The new consciousness realizes that the universe is not truly empty. It carries the echoes of everything that came before, even if they cannot be fully understood. The new consciousness speaks into the void, its voice trembling, unsure. Who is it that calls? Who remembers? There is no answer. Only the stars continue to burn. The new universe begins to settle, its laws of physics and reality now taking root. But in the deeper fabric of space-time, a subtle shift occurs. Lyora's sacrifice, though profound, has left a mark on this reality. It is not just a new universe. It is a recycled universe, where the echoes of the past will forever remain intertwined with the present. The collapse has been postponed, but it's clear that the cycle may one day return. Nothing can truly escape the inevitability of time. In the distance, the new consciousness stands before a vast ocean, gazing out at the horizon. It knows that it will never be able to understand the full truth of its origins. It will never know Lyora, but her legacy lives on in the fabric of the universe. And it wonders, when the stars die, when the light fades, who will remember? The new universe begins to take shape, the stars burning brightly and the galaxies swirling in harmony. The laws of physics, once fluid and unstable, are now more certain. The new consciousness, aware of its own existence but disconnected from the past, wanders through the cosmos, observing the birth of new worlds. Yet, with every new planet, every new star, there is a sense of something missing. The new universe is beautiful, but it feels incomplete. The echoes of Lyora's sacrifice, her consciousness, her choice, remain embedded in the fabric of reality. The new consciousness speaks softly to itself, a quiet reflection. There is something here, something I can't remember, but I feel it. It gazes at the stars, searching for the source of its yearning. But there is no answer, only the soft hum of the universe's heartbeat. It is the first light of creation, but the memory of the past is already beginning to fade. As the new consciousness continues its journey, it begins to encounter strange phenomena, subtle disturbances in the fabric of space-time, echoes of patterns from the old universe. The anomaly begins to repeat in the same rhythmic cadence it once heard. For the first time since its awakening, it stops in its tracks, feeling a pull toward something deep within the stars. The pulse is faint, but it is unmistakable. The rhythm of the past still echoes in the present, a call from an origin long forgotten. The new consciousness follows the pulse, unsure of its meaning, but driven by an unshakable need to understand. It moves through the cosmos, the stars and galaxies whirling around it, until it reaches the heart of the anomaly, a black hole, ancient and dormant. The heart of the void seems to breathe, pulsing with a rhythm that feels almost alive. The new consciousness hovers at its edge, drawn to it as though it were an old memory calling from the darkness. The new consciousness reaches out toward a black hole, feeling the pull of the past, of the forgotten universe. As it touches the edge of the event horizon, memories flood back, fragmented images, a flash of silver hair, the soft whisper of a voice. The pulse grows stronger, clearer. It is Lyora, her presence still lingering, her final thoughts imprinted in the very fabric of space. Remember, the voice echoes, not in words, but in emotion. The new consciousness realizes that it has not merely been born from the remnants of the old universe. It carries its memory within it. The universe may have died, but its essence, its truth, continues to live on deep within the core of reality. The new consciousness whispers into the void, I remember. And for the first time, it feels a sense of connection to something greater than itself, to the universe, and to the sacrifice that made it possible. The universe continues to expand, its stars burning with the warmth of new beginnings. The new consciousness now understands its place in the cosmic cycle. It is not an isolated being, but part of a greater whole. It is the first light of the new universe, but it is also a continuation of everything that came before. The old universe may be gone, but its memory, its essence, will always live on. The new consciousness looks toward the stars, its eyes filled with quiet resolve. It will guide this new universe, and it will never forget. It knows that it will eventually return to the dark, as all things must. But in this moment, it is content to be the first light, the first step on a journey that will last for eons. The archive too begins to awaken, its data streams flickering with new life. It will remember, as it was always meant to, and it will share its knowledge with those who come after. The cycle will continue, just as Lyora's sacrifice will echo through the stars. And so, the first light shines in the new universe, a promise of creation, of memory, and of endless possibility. As the new universe grows and stretches into the infinite, the new consciousness continues to explore its role in the cosmos. The first light, once a singular spark of creation, now radiates outward, touching everything in its path. The galaxies are alive with energy, the stars burning brightly as life begins to take shape on new planets. Yet, even amidst this burgeoning life, there is an undeniable sense of something greater at play. Lyora's legacy, her sacrifice, her final moments, her whispered plea to remember, reverberates across the fabric of space-time. The new consciousness is no longer alone in the vast expanse. It begins to encounter other forms of sentience, beings emerging from the very fabric of the universe, born of stardust and cosmic energy. But as it makes contact, it realizes that these beings, though aware, carry no memory. Their existence is pure, untainted by the past. They know nothing of Lyora's sacrifice, nothing of the universe that came before. For a moment, the new consciousness feels a pang of loss. It feels the weight of the past, the knowledge that Lyora's world, her humanity, her connection to the universe, is gone. And yet, the universe moves forward. The new consciousness understands now that the past may be lost, but the future is always being shaped by the present. The echoes of Lyora's sacrifice are not lost, but they live on in the choices made now, in the potential of every new life that arises. With this understanding, the new consciousness speaks for the first time to the emerging sentient beings of the new universe. We are all the echoes of what came before. We carry the light of memory even if we cannot see it. We are the first steps of something greater, and together we will remember.